players get moved between franchises during each season. Some teams can suddenly enter the title race with the arrival of one or two new players. On the other hand, some don't make as much sense, and a team ends up paying painfully for the decisions they made. While some of these moves can be anticipated, occasionally a trade or two occur that absolutely catches everyone off guard. Here are the top 10 most shocking NBA transactions ever. First off, at number 1, Shaquille O'Neal to the Miami Heat. Shaquille O'Neal has been a showstopper since the start. Some would say he's a legend, and they won't be wrong. The guy was an absolute icon and completely dominated the field, making any team who landed him pretty lucky. That's exactly how the Lakers felt, at least until O'Neal was traded. The early 2000 Lakers were the last NBA champions to win 3 straight titles. When they were partners back then, Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal were unbeatable, winning 3 straight championships from 2000 to 2002. In 2004, they made it back to the finals but lost to the Detroit Pistons. The squad would ultimately collapse as a result of the unexpected loss and Laker coach Phil Jackson's failure to receive a contract extension. Shaq being traded by the Lakers to the Miami Heat after 2 fruitless postseason runs was stunning. Up next at number 2, Dennis Rodman to the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls, led by Michael Jordan, spent years in limbo, frequently losing to Isaiah Thomas's Detroit Pistons. The Bulls' era officially started in 1991 when they eventually ousted the Pistons. Fans were shocked when the Chicago Bulls acquired former Pistons forward Dennis Rodman in a trade. Ultimately, Rodman helped Team Jordan with 3 more titles, so everything worked out. Following up at number 3, Philadelphia 76ers traded Drew Holiday to New Orleans Pelicans. The deal announced recently hired general manager Sam Hinkie's renegade strategy to the rest of the NBA, and it launched the process. Holiday was a young point guard with excellent potential who was signed to a fair contract at the time, so nobody was aware that he was moving. Even the year before, he was named to the All-Star squad. However, Hinkie wanted to begin the rebuild and dealt the Sixers best player to do so. In exchange, they received a highly regarded prospect who wouldn't play until the 2014-15 season and a first-round pick, which they later used to acquire Dario Saric and Markelle Fultz through a number of draft deals and pick swaps. The main result of the transaction was that the 76ers were so terrible in 2013 to 2014 that Joel Embiid was selected 3rd overall the following summer. Up next, 4. The Boston Celtics deal Nate Robinson and Kendrick Perkins to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do not be misled by the names. At the time, this seemed to be tilting the axis, especially given that the notoriously covert front offices involved did not announce the agreement until it fell into the laps of the fans on a Thursday afternoon. Green, along with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, was a founding member of OKC's original Big Three. Perkins, who was sidelined, was the team's primary center and was crucial to maintaining cohesion. The agreement stated that the Thunder's future had come at the time, while the Celtics were already considering a life after the three amigos. Neither team received what it expected. In OKC, Perkins developed into a dependable mentor and locker room figure, but he was never again a consistent performer on the court. Green failed to reach his potential as a two-way player, and the Celtics core crumbled without him. The fact that Westbrook and Nate Robinson were ever on the same team at the same time, however, is arguably the one thing about the deal that shocks people the most in retrospect. Just try to picture what those drill matches were like. Further up, number 5, Kawhi Leonard moves from San Antonio Spurs to Toronto Raptors. When Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green were moved to the Toronto Raptors in 2018, together with DeMar DeRozan and a pick, they were part of the nucleus of the San Antonio Spurs. The Raptors were expected to overcome their current struggles and succeed in winning a title. Little did the supporters know how much they would gain from that trade. The team won their first and only championship under Leonard's leadership. They also put a stop to the Golden State Warriors' Kevin Durant era in the process. Coming up next at number 6, Paul George from Oklahoma City Thunder to Los Angeles Clippers. Paul George was only 1 year into a contract extension when he decided to leave Oklahoma City. After that, he was transported to Los Angeles to team up with Kawhi Leonard. The Thunder received Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a ton of draft picks as compensation. This deal also had a knock-on effect because Russell Westbrook later expressed interest in leaving OKC. George and Leonard are among the league's top tandems, despite the fact that the deal hasn't yet led to a championship. Following up at number 7, Anthony Davis from New Orleans Pelicans to Los Angeles Lakers. Before finally making the move, Anthony Davis had long expressed a desire to leave New Orleans. He was coming to Los Angeles to team up with LeBron James, and everyone knew it. He was finally dealt in 2019 for Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and some selections. Both teams benefited from the trade as New Orleans advanced and Ingram became a superstar. On the other hand, Los Angeles won their first championship in a decade with the help of Davis and James. Up next at number 8, James Harden from Oklahoma City Thunder to Houston Rockets. In 2011, a deal that split up a potential Big Three took place. When James Harden was dealt from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Houston Rockets for pennies on the dollar, he had just begun to make a name for himself. Due to this transaction, Oklahoma City probably missed out on a number of championships. As a result, the Houston Rockets were immediate contenders for more than a decade. Following up at number 9, Utah Jazz traded Deron Williams to New Jersey Nets. Don't discount the trade for D-Will as an all-time left fielder. Williams was a near superstar point guard who was compared to Paul and valuable enough to the Jazz in January that the team agreed to break ways with longtime coach Jerry Sloan, ostensibly to appease Williams. Weeks later, Utah and Williams decided to part ways anyway, sending him to New Jersey in exchange for what turned out to be essentially 2 top 5 picks, Favors and Enes Kanter, while the rest of the NBA world was preoccupied with developments in the melodrama surrounding the disgruntled star forward of the Nuggets. Both teams appeared to have won. Utah appeared to be pursuing the rebuild way at the proper time, acquiring the player assets to retool for the future without completely sacrificing the present, and New Jersey appeared to have acquired a prominent player ahead of the franchise's relocation. Favors and Kanter never clicked, and eventually both were eclipsed by late first-round pick Rudy Gobert. D-Will didn't live up to his potential in Jersey or Brooklyn, and Utah's rebuild took a lot longer than planned. This trade, however, tops all other notable transactions from this decade in terms of how little warning there was. Now at number 10, Oklahoma City Thunder traded James Harden to Houston Rockets. No other deal could surpass this when Oklahoma City decided it could live with the repercussions of losing their 6th player. Harden hadn't gone full fear the beard, which makes it seem like the deal should have been even more stunning at the time. Nonetheless, he had been an important member of a youthful team that had just reached the finals. He wouldn't become a restricted free agent until the conclusion of the following season, and he appeared to be on the verge of becoming extremely good. It was difficult to imagine that GM Sam Presti would actually execute the trade. However, he did, and the NBA world discovered that Harden had been traded to Houston for what seemed to be a disproportionate amount of mid-level assets: the aging Martin, the freshly selected Lamb, and a few first-round picks unlikely to be Grand Slam picks. The debate over the deal continues to this day. Following up, Charles Barkley from the Philadelphia 76ers to Phoenix Suns. After getting into some problems near the conclusion of his time in Philadelphia, Charles Barkley desperately wanted a new place to call home. In the 1992-93 NBA season, he was traded to the Phoenix Suns because they seemed to be the greatest fit. The trade made the Suns an immediate contender for the majority of the decade. Barkley ended up becoming a franchise legend and securing his place as one of the best ever, despite not being able to lead the team to a title. Lastly, Wilt Chamberlain from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Los Angeles Lakers. When Wilt Chamberlain was transferred to Los Angeles in 1968, he had won 3 consecutive MVP awards and an NBA title the previous year. The 76ers received some money and a few supporting players in exchange. The Lakers were immediate contenders as a result of the transaction, and Chamberlain cemented his place in franchise lore. Additionally, it was the first time an MVP was traded to a different team the year following winning the award. Well, that's a wrap for this video, folks. So let us know what you think about today's video in the comments down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome videos like this. Hey, we'll see you next time for all the latest updates.